welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to be taking a real deep journey inward. I want you to just step away for a second from the noise, the endless notifications, and those constant, exhausting demands of the world. We're reflecting on the truly timeless wisdom of Surah Al-Baqarah, specifically verses 8 to 11. You know, this isn't just some ancient text. It's literally a mirror held up directly to our modern lives, asking us to confront the reality of who we really are when absolutely no one else is watching. Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever noticed that some people lie so often, they actually start believing it themselves? It's a pretty fascinating psychological phenomenon. I mean, we've all seen it happen, right? Someone bends the truth a little, then they bend it again and again, until that falsehood essentially becomes their actual reality. They completely internalize the deception. But here's the uncomfortable part. What happens when that person isn't just a random stranger, but the person staring right back at us in the mirror? That brings us to section 1, the mask we wear and the hidden reality. So these specific verses introduce us to this hidden reality of a specific group, the hypocrites. By definition, these are people who say all the right words on the outside, but they are hiding something completely different on the inside. Now, at first glance, it's super easy to picture, say, a toxic coworker or a fake public figure. But if we are truly being honest with ourselves, this definition actually forces us to ask some pretty uncomfortable questions about our own lives. Because let's be real, just look at the modern performance we are all putting on every single day. We are so exhausted. We're constantly stressed out. We are deeply, deeply anxious about what everyone else thinks of us. We're pretending to be someone we're not online, endlessly curating the perfect feed, or pretending at work, or even around our own family. It is just a relentless, absolutely crushing pressure to keep up the act. And here is where you see that severe disconnect. For our outward appearance, we're smiling, right? We act super confident. We tell everyone, oh, I'm perfectly fine. But the inward reality, we're falling apart. We are literally drowning in self-doubt. That massive gap between who we actually are and who we pretend to be, it creates this immense silent pressure building up inside the heart. And this brilliantly illustrates our next focus. Section 2, a disease of the heart and the toll of pretending. See, this isn't just about feeling a little tired. Think about it. When your physical body gets sick, what happens? You feel physical pain, you lose your energy, you really struggle just to function normally. Well, the text reminds us that the exact same thing happens to the human heart. It experiences a literal spiritual sickness. The heart actually weakens under the suffocating weight of maintaining a fake persona. The hypocrites described in these verses lived with this constant, lingering fear of being exposed. And honestly, so many people today live the exact same way. They aren't worried about a loss seeing them. Their modern anxiety stems almost entirely from the terrifying fear that people, society, their friends, might actually see the real, unfiltered version of them. Let's move to section 3 and see how this builds, the weight of small lies and how the heart weakens. The detailed tafsir of these verses points out that the absolute root of this disease is lying. And we're not talking about massive, headline-making scandals here, but the compounding weight of tiny, everyday lies. It's a snowball effect. First, we tell little lies just to protect our image. Then we tell lies to impress strangers. Next, we lie to avoid taking responsibility for our mistakes. And finally, and this is definitely the most dangerous one, the lies we start telling ourselves. Every single one of those lies makes the heart just a little bit weaker. And that continues until you reach this terrifying tipping point. A person becomes so incredibly used to living in falsehood that it literally becomes their new normal. And the absolute truth? Well, the truth actually starts to feel really uncomfortable to them. It feels offensive. Which brings us to section 4, calling harm good and the grand delusion. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the shocking response of these individuals when they are explicitly told not to cause harm. They boldly reply, "We're only trying to make things better." It's this frightening reality of completely reversing good and harm. A person becomes so utterly disconnected from the truth that they are out there actively spreading corruption, yet they genuinely, truly believe in their minds that they are the heroes fixing things. And we don't have to look far to see this. Just look around at our society today to see these modern delusions in full swing. People are absolutely destroying their mental health just chasing the approval of total strangers, and we have the nerve to call it success. People completely abandon their core values just to fit in with the crowd, and society labels that freedom. We normalize deeply, deeply harmful behavior, and we celebrate it as progress. It is a profound, incredibly heavy reminder derived straight from the text. Not every path that feels good actually leads somewhere good. Sometimes the easiest, most comfortable path is the exact one causing you the most internal, spiritual damage. So, how do we fix this? Section 5, the courage to be real and where reform starts. The beautiful thing is, the Tafsir doesn't just leave us hanging with a bleak diagnosis. It offers a real cure. But it requires work. Real reform doesn't start with you going out and changing the world. It starts with a step-by-step internal process. So, the crucial point is this. First, you have to look within before pointing a finger at anyone else. Second, you have to be brutally honest with yourself before you try changing others. And third, you have to fix yourself before trying to fix society. You have to completely drop the performance. Because ultimately, the strongest people in the world, they're not the ones who successfully fool everyone around them. No way. The truly strong ones are those who are brave enough to stand in front of that mirror and face the unfiltered, uncomfortable truth about themselves. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one simple but incredibly powerful question. Where in your life are you currently pretending instead of being sincere with Allah? Take a quiet moment today. Really ask yourself that. Because honestly, finding the courage to answer that one question has the power to change your entire future. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Follow Iqra-ilmify for more reflections that connect these profound, ancient words to our everyday, modern lives.